Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name's FPL Phillips and I'm delighted to be bringing you another week of Eddie versus the Algorithm, the series here where I'm taking on a computer generated team, a free hit draft if you like, every week of the FPL season, putting up my own free hit draft against it, and we're seeing week by week who can score the most points in a head-to-head. So far, so good for myself. It was a shaky start of the season, but I've managed to claw my way back, and I'm now leading 10-8 over the Algorithm with a victory last week. Pretty much single-handedly carried by Cody Gakpo, who the Algorithm didn't go with. So cheers for that one, Cody. Putting you my faith in you again this week. Bit of a spoiler there, but it's no doubt. We've got a double game week on our hands, albeit only for 2 teams, but it does make it a little bit more interesting for this one, as we'll get into having a look at both my team and, as usual, kicking things off with the Algorithm side. So thank you to all of you guys continuing to tune into the videos. Apologies for the technical difficulties last week. Totally my fault, to be honest, and I can only apologize. Hopefully I'll make up for it this week with some great, insightful content. Undoubtedly, that is what you always get here. No joking about, no messing. But I actually really did put in some decent thought last week and some really, really good analysis. Basically, I just backed against Spurs, and who would have thought that ended up working for me? So didn't go with the 3 Spurs. It's made a very compelling case for it. Spurs, lo and behold, did in fact lose to Leicester, and I would have sounded like a genius if you could have actually heard me. So you'll just have to trust me on the fact that I did actually say those things. So if it goes wrong this week, it's just a fluke, and the microphone hopefully is working perfectly. But yeah, let's get into having a look at this team. Then the Algorithm in a 4-3-3 formation, not often we often see, but it's going to be kicked off with Alisson Becker once again in goal for the Algorithm. It's not learned from its mistakes last week, has it? It went with the Liverpool double defence. Ended up not being the correct strategy. I have a feeling this week, once again, could be a week to go with double Liverpool attack rather than doubling up on the defence. I just don't think there's too much upside to going with Alisson. Liverpool aren't keeping a massive amount of clean sheets, and even then, their attack is just so good that I just can't weigh that up personally myself in my head. There are some good attacking options on offer this week from other teams that don't have double game weeks. But still, in my view, and let me know if you think differently down in the comments, but there isn't too much sense in going for this play. And so, I, for once, don't actually like the Algorithm goalkeeper pick quite significantly. In defence, we're of course going to see Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's joined by 3 Everton defenders. So they've got Leicester and Liverpool in this double game week. Even with those 2 home fixtures, I don't think it's enough to justify a triple up, surely, or is it? Now, Tarkowski, Mikalenko, and Ranthwaite, you've not got too much attacking threat in there, but I do think we could see 1 clean sheet potentially. And obviously, the upside with this lot is that as long as they don't concede too many goals to Liverpool, you're looking at 3 or 4 points as a baseline for any of these 3, and then maybe a chance of an attack in return. So instead of risking and trying to gamble for a defender who'll get 6, or maybe gamble for a defender who ends up getting the double point haul, not really knowing which one, obviously trying to pick from a few good options, you're instead just going for a more flat baseline of, hopefully around 4 points for these lot. So I don't mind it as a strategy. You'll see what I've done in a moment. That's essentially what the Algorithm is doing, and of course it's only going based on numbers. It's only going on predicted points, and with double the amount of fixtures this week, obviously those Everton defenders are going to rank pretty highly up here. In midfield, it's no surprise to see Mohamed Salah taking the captain's armband for Liverpool's away trips to Bournemouth and Everton. And then Cole Palmer, who's taken the vice-captain's armband, a very nice home game against West Ham for Chelsea this week. So 2 of the regulars in the Algorithm side, no reason for them to leave this week. Obviously a double game week and a very nice home fixture. Why would there be? And then Brian Mbeumo, who's got a very, very nice fixture as well, up against Tottenham at home. A good opportunity for Brentford to score some more goals. He's in fine form. Definitely a player I regret selling, and one that you could keep for a long, long time, I think. With Brentford even seemingly pretty fixture-proof at the moment. They're scoring a lot of goals. I think Mbeumo's been in great form. The return of this has definitely helped him. And obviously on penalties and all that, he can often grab an attack and return, even in a game where perhaps Brentford aren't too much on the front foot. So there's a lot going in Mbeumo's favour. He's still pretty reasonably priced. I like him as an option a lot. He has got some plus signs like those penalties that make him an option that's more superior than the likes of Gordon, in my view. And he's just a more consistent asset, I think. Gordon, on his day, maybe gets a bigger points haul, but Mbeumo has had some monster hauls this season as well, and has had in previous years. So A big fan of Mbeumo. I think he'll continue to be a great asset for the remainder of the season. And this week is no different with a home fixture against one of the weakest defences in the league at the moment, with so many injuries there. I can't see. I don't know if Andrew's going to even last too much longer. You have to give him some leeway with what's been going on, with the lack of personnel that he's simply got to pick from there. Maybe when the next few weeks with Romero coming back, Van der Ven with their injury timelines and schedules, we might see some improvement. But this week at least, it's not looking too good for Spurs once more. And yeah, as algorithm goes with Vissa up front as well. So a double up on the Brentford attack, looking very tasty indeed. Alexander Isak, the informed man, then comes in as well. Fulham at home is not the easiest fixture in the world, but Newcastle at home with Isak in such fine form this season, I think it looks a good option. And then to double up on the Chelsea attack as well, Nicholas Jackson comes in as the final player in this 11 that's predicted to score 95 points this week. So it's looking very, very nice. I have to say, it's gone for a lot of similar trends to what my side looks like. We will reveal the bench as well, just to see who's down there. It's Madueke, Murphy, and Mazraoui. So 3 M's down there on the bench, weirdly. But yeah, that's the algorithm team. As usual, I'm going to ask you guys, once you've seen my team, to let me know down below in the comments, do you think the algorithm will win this week, or do you think I will win this week? You can judge for yourselves right now. I hope you guys like my new mug, by the way. Very keeping it on trend for these videos. It's something that a 4-year-old would buy, but I got it in a charity shop for £1. So cheers to another week of fantastic FPL content here. So this is my team that I have gone with. I have still gone with an Everton triple up in defence, but I went for a different strategy. Didn't go with Alisson. I'm very against picking the Liverpool goalkeeper as an option, unless, it's a long-term selection of Kelleher or someone, if Alisson was out for the season, something like that. But even still then, this year, I just don't see that happening. I think that you've got Salah, obviously, you've got Trent, and then Gakpo does look like a fantastic pick at the moment, and he's in this team again. Delivered for me last week. I'm hoping he can do so once more. As said, that double game week, it just looks too good. He's played, 50 minutes in the Champions League. He's had a rest. I think he'll play both in this. He is just in... he seems to have come into his own finally in this Liverpool team, and he's a player that we saw previously at his former club he could be. I have gone with the Brentford double up as well. I've gone with Cliver at Bournemouth, which is my kind of punty pick for this week. I still think that Liverpool will concede in the game against Bournemouth. There's no reason for me to go against Trent. I still think he's got massive upside. But Cliver, it was hard to pick between Utara and Cliver and Semenyo, in fact. So there's a real toss-up between those Bournemouth midfielders at the moment. But they're a team in fine form going forward. Absolutely spanked Nottingham Forest, who, are second or third in the league at the moment. So yeah, Bournemouth in some great form. I'm going with their man who's on penalties, just like for the same reasons I justified with going in Mbeumo, is that he could always get a return from a dodgy little lapse of judgment from someone at the back. Not looking at Trent in particular, I promise. But yeah, that's why he's in the side. And yeah, other than that, I've gone with Mikalenko and Branthwaite, so I've just picked the 2 Everton defenders I back the most. No room in here for Tarkowski for me. But overall, the 11 does look pretty similar. I'm sorry about that it is a little bit boring. I promise I haven't seen the algorithm 11 by the time when I make these teams. It's just with a double game week, you're obviously going to have 6 players from 2 teams. It limits your selections a little bit. Palmer's got a good fixture. He's obviously going to go in. The double Brentford is interesting that we've both gone and targeted Tottenham this week after the algorithm was backing Spurs the week prior. So maybe a shift in attitude for the computer. But yeah, let me know down below in the comments as a reminder. Do you think I will win this week, or do you think the algorithm will win for this game week coming up? Finally, let's have a look at the captaincy for this game week. Not going to be the longest discussion in the world, I imagine, but could Trent Alexander-Arnold or someone else provide an option better than Mo Salah? Now, it is interesting. Obviously, Cody Gakpo could be a very, very nice shout to go for as potentially a differential captaincy option. Trent's always kind of looming there, but unless he's getting an attacking return or 2 in a game, it's going to be hard to come on par with Mo Salah, I feel like, from what I'm predicting. He will end up scoring. And a lot of people still have the triple captainship remaining, and if you're going with a triple captain, I would always want to go on someone who's a more proven FPL asset, someone like a Mo Salah. I think I've been hurt by the chip too many times in the past, and maybe go with someone like a Gakpo, but it's very much a high high risk, high reward scenario where if you pick the player in form, maybe Salah just sits behind a little bit and isn't the star of the game week, and Gakpo continues, that 16-pointer last week, that kind of form, attacking return after attacking return in both games, then you could come away with a serious points advantage. It is just the fact that he's a forward, so he gets one less point for every goal he scores, and also Salah has penalties as well. I just think, over one game week, maybe you get away with it. 2 game weeks, and especially if you're using a triple captainship, you just do go in favour of the statistics and the odds, and that all points towards Mo Salah being the superior FPL asset, as is represented by his 13.3 predicted points for this game week. Gakpo only down on 7.4, even below Cole Palmer, which I think is interesting. I'm probably wrong, to be honest. But the expected goals conceded, obviously Bournemouth and Everton, not the worst defences by any stretch. West Ham, you can see in comparison, 1.94, a much weaker defence than both those sides, which is why I've kind of chosen to even take the little bit of the gamble on the Everton defenders. Maybe somehow they come away with a clean sheet in that game against Liverpool, and then I've still not really lost out in that battle and that way up there. But yeah, as you can see, the expected FPL, the bottom row of this table, 9.57 for Mo Salah per 90. Gakpo down on 6.39. He's in good form recently. That stat is from the entirety of the season. It has been better, but still, I think with the things I mentioned, there is a compelling case to go for Mo Salah as your captain this week. Not the spicy option, not the sexiest option to go for, but my word, it still looks pretty damn good. So yeah, unfortunately, this is just a week to captain Mohamed Salah, I feel. So there won't be too much fun in the captaincy debacle, I don't think. But hopefully, your game week will end up being fun anyway. Hopefully, things all go your way. And I wish you the best of luck and hopefully a green arrow for this one. And hopefully, I'll see you in a future video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Leave a thumbs up if you did. And until next time, I'll catch you then. See ya.